And no, home sellers, you do not have to pay a buyer broker commission. It's just always been in your best interest. It may take a while longer for your home to sell if you don't pay a buyer broker commission, and that's certainly fine too. But just like anything else in life, you get what you pay for. You know, I was gonna say, well, when I had a Cadillac, I took my car to the Cadillac dealership because it was done right. They work on those cars all the time. They're professionals. Or Chevy to Chevy. But when I first moved to Arizona, I mean, I was driving a little small Volkswagen Jetta or something like that. I went to one of those drive-in Jiffy Lube for oil changes. I promise you, swear to God, hand on the Bible, this is a true story. I left there and there was oil running down the street. They're unprofessional, man. The people they hired, they didn't even know what they were doing. I promise you, O.J. Simpson would be living an entirely different lifestyle if he hired the cheapest attorneys. I mean, the contractors that you hire for your home, man, I've gone with the cheapest before, and I have paid for the premium quality. And it is just an entirely different finished product. When it goes to selling your home too, man, I mean, look, the buyer has to come up with a massive down payment. Plus, they got to pay their own closing costs. So traditionally, the commissions were on the seller. But either way, you know, if you have an unrepresented buyer, I can only imagine the nightmares that are going to happen. Buyer, you know, you have two parties trying to negotiate the best deal they can possibly get. Expensive price tag. What could possibly go wrong? Buyer doesn't get his way on every, facet of the transaction, and he starts to say, "I'm not going to sign." Okay, cool. Well, then the seller is going to sue you for failure to perform. And then, a seller's already moved out. They've paid for moving expenses. If they have to put this home back on the market and they take a less offer, say let's take 200 grand less or 50 grand less, those are damages. And it's not the first time that they would come after you for it. If you just, failure to perform, you have obligations on these contracts. And you can't just throw your hands when you don't get your way and just say, "Hey, I'm not signing. I'm not buying this house no more." I mean, I can just see the unrepresented buyers now getting themselves in a situation where earnest money is, potentially lost. Breach of contracts are happening. Look, man, you hire professionals for a reason. And whether it's just to get a smooth transaction and you get all the equity out of your home as the seller, that's your right. You should hire an agent that protects your equity. And for the buyers, you should be hiring an agent to get you the best deal possible, get you in 10, 20 homes, to help you draft contracts to get you the best deal. We know the language. There's just like doctors have their own language, attorneys have their own language, lenders have their own language, real estate agents have our own language on how we negotiate the terms of these contracts. And boy, it's interesting times with this lawsuit. And, there could be it might just be interesting times ahead of us for a little while. But buyers, I could definitely see potentially losing earnest money, getting sellers in a really tough situation. And it could go badly. It could go really bad.